Hi everyone, Sarah Wiles here today for the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel, and today we'll be making this fun snow globe card using the Spellbinders Simon Hurley's snow globe collection. I'll be using two different ones, and that's what I'm showing here. It's the 3D embossing folder with the snowflakes. It's called Sparkling Snow, and then the Simon Snow Globe. It has 17 cutting dies. I did not show me cutting everything out. I spared you that. And here you'll see that I am going ahead and using my Distressed Oxide Mowed Lawn to add a little shading to the bottom of these trees. So when I add them in my snow globe, they'll have a little more dimension to them. And it also shows off the beautiful texture that is on these trees from the dies. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess with the green before I move on to my next color here. I did cut out a lot more trees. It cuts out 3 at a time, 3 different sizes. I love the fact that there's multiple sizes here. And here you'll see that one of those little hilly areas is cut out correctly. I went ahead and added a little bit of, I think tumbled glass is what was still just on my blending sponge there, and I added it to both of those hills. One I just cut straight, and one I cut like the die is meant to be because I wasn't sure what I was wanting. This is also different. I went ahead and cut the houses, the far die, twice. I cut it in white, and then I also cut it in brown, and you'll see why here in just a second. This is the base of the snow globe, and I'm going to go ahead and add some of ground espresso to the edges. I want to darken them up some. A snow globe is curved, it's round, so I wanted to have just a little more dimension and make it look like those are a little further away than the center of it, where I will go ahead and put the little saying that I chose for this card as well. So I'm done with ground espresso. I'll clean up my mess and move on to the next one. Here, I'm going to go ahead. This is what I meant. I'm going to cut the houses off this hill because I am going to attach them on top of the white ones. I thought maybe I could get them to look like gingerbread houses. I thought it was a cool idea. I liked the way it turned out. So, I was showing you there that I went ahead and put my glue in a fine liner bottle so that I didn't have to worry about making such a mess on little delicate pieces. So at this point, I'm going ahead and adhering these houses one by one on top of the white-heeled one that will actually be in my snow globe. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I always tend to get glue all over my fingers. See right there, you'll see me cleaning up a little bit. I have already sprayed some water on my microfiber rag there so I can wipe up every once in a while or reach over and clean off the tips of my fingers as well so I don't leave marks. But I'm going to go ahead and adhere this last one on there and try to make sure that I don't get too much glue anywhere. And I'm pinching up at the top where the chimney is and where the top of the house is so that I can make sure that it's on straight. And here I am pulling out my white gel pens to see which one I think is going to work best for coloring on these houses to kind of make them look a little more like gingerbread. So I am just kind of trying the pens out on that scrap piece where I had cut the houses off of. And I'm going to go ahead and use my gel pen to outline the lines that are already there on the roofs, color a little bit on the chimney, and make sure that I do this on each and every house, make them look a little different. And then I will go back and also add some around the windows. As you saw, I thought I was going to put it away, and then I'm like, no. I decided to go ahead and add a little more and doodle around the windows a little bit, add their window seals and everything, and just make them look a little more like gingerbread houses. With Amina so small, it's a little hard to add a ton of detail to them, but I still thought this was cute and it was a little different. So I had fun with this part. And there we go. I'm done with that. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting the rest of this back together. I'm going to pull these out and see which hill I'm going to decide to use. Am I going to keep it lower, but then I'm also going to realize I have not done anything to the background, the actual snow globe part where everything is going to sit. So I am going to go ahead and pull out another foam blending brush, and this is Tumbled Glass. And I am going to start adding this to the snow globe part. It's really, really light, and you see me tapping it off there on my glass mat as well. Just making sure that I don't get too much, and every once in a while you'll see me tap back into that or the actual Distressed Oxide pad as it is. And at first I was thinking I like this, and then I remembered what I was planning on doing to the sparkling snow 3D embossing piece that I'm going to be using. So I went ahead and pulled out my darker colors. And so I'm going to be getting into Uncharted Mariner first. And then I have Chipped Sapphire and Blueprint Ribbon. I can't read that right now. I apologize. There will be links below for everything that I used. But right here, I'm going to go ahead and switch over. And you see me trying to figure out, is this really the one I want? But I also knew if I decided I didn't really like this color, that the next one would go over it. So I thought I was okay. And I thought it was a little too blue for the more bluey green that was with the Uncharted Mariner. But I figured I could make it work. And then I'm just going to go back and forth until I get the blend that I want to. I know as they're drying, they kind of meld together, they blend better together, and the colors kind of soften. So after they've been dry for a little bit, it will look better. It won't look perfect right now. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little more of that, grab the Uncharted Mariner and add a little more and make that blend a little better. And then I will finally leave it where it is. And I will grab my Black Soot Distressed Oxide because I decided I wanted it a little darker. So I'll add a little bit of this and then I will set it to the side. But right here, I went ahead and I am adding a little black soot around the edge, nice and lightly, not moving too far in or anything like that because I want the transition between the colors to show. And so I went ahead and put that to the side. I'm cleaning up my desk space. I wiped off my fingertips so that I don't put blue all over everything else, especially since I'll be messing with white here in just a second. So I don't know about anybody else, but I do have the habit of leaving little fingerprints if I'm not careful. So I try to make sure to keep something there to wash my fingertips off. Here I went ahead and got my water brushes out. I just squeezed some water there on my glass mat and I'm splashing it over on my background piece, rolling my paper towel over it, just plain simple, easy, just so that it picks up some of that Distressed Oxide and makes it look like a starry sky. And here I went ahead and pulled out some of my stickles and I'm going to add some water to that, water it down, because believe it or not, you can splatter this on there as well. And this way I can have a little more sparkle and shine added to it as well. Once I am done doing all my splattering, I will clean up my mess and go ahead and set this to the side. I know this leaves a little bit of dimension when you splatter the stickles, but I didn't have a problem with it. I liked the fact that it left a little more dimension. So as you saw me there, I went ahead and put that away. And now I'm going to pull out my sentiment that's going to go on the bottom of the snow globe. And this says Merry Christmas. I'm going to go ahead and back it on this is gold glitter paper. And the dies cut through this fantastically. And then I went ahead and backed it with a shiny pink. And I'm going to go ahead and put it here on the bottom of the snow globe. And it's so cool. You'll see in the close-up pictures, it's so sweet and delicate the little letters are, and it cut out perfectly. And here I cut out both of the houses because it gives you two larger houses within this die set. And they're both fantastic. And I'm going to go ahead and put the roof on this house and the next one. It also gives you a completely separate die that I did not use for the chimney, and it also does the roof, and you can stack this on top of that. But I did not use that die this time. And here I'm trying to make sure that I scrape away some of the glue that came out from underneath, put a little too much on. and I'm trying to decide which house I am going to add the windows to, because I am only going to use one of these on this card, actually. So I decided to go ahead and use this one. And so I'm putting the window on first, and then I'm going to put on a door. You see, I could have used both houses, but I decided I just wanted to use the one. I went a little different with this card, making them gingerbread houses. I thought it was just something different, and I have a thing for gingerbread houses. They're so cute. I pulled out my white gel pen again, and I'm going to go ahead and color over that window and do the outline of it. And I'm also going to add some white up at the top of the chimney like I did on the other houses in the background as well. And right here, I'm trying to make sure that I'm careful with it because these are quite small. It's not as small as the other ones. And I almost forgot the chimney right there. But I go ahead and go back and do that and set it to the side, and I grab my background, and at this point it's pretty much dry. So I figured I will go ahead and start layering these. This is the base one. That's got those cute little gingerbread houses in the background. And then this is where I decide if I'm going to use this one because I wanted it so low and I had cut the other one so high up. I'm going to look at the little, I forgot what that's called. The lamp, the street lamp, sorry. And here I'm going to try to decide what trees I want. And I'm going to start putting these behind the houses on the back hill. And I did decide to put these behind the houses. I know it shows differently on the die, but that's kind of one thing I love about dies and stamps is you can use them any way you decide to. So that second one I put down came over the side of one of the houses a little bit. And I'm going to slide this little street lamp right back there, not quite behind the house, but a little behind the hill. And here's where I decide I'm going to use the smaller hill because of where I want it to sit. Honestly, I could have done this a lot easier and just cut it out with the die and sat it correctly on the circle when I cut both pieces out, because you can cut both the house piece and this hill piece in the same cut, but I made it difficult on myself. So I'm going to go ahead. I had pulled out my foam dots and I went ahead and added those, and I'm going to trim this off so the rest of it is gone and it'll be easy to stick the base of my card on. And I will turn that around. And this is, I'm going to grab the base of my card here. And before I do that though, I'm going to try to figure out where I want my house. Make sure that I have the snow globe straight too. And I'm going to cut one of my foam pieces in half so that I could go ahead and put it behind the top portion of the house, seeing how I did pop that bottom hill up. This way it'll set well on the card itself. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down, move it a little bit, make sure it's exactly where I want it. Let's see, I scooted it over to the right a little bit there. And then I'm going to grab my trees and start sticking them where I want them as well. Right over here to the right, I'm going to stack 2 of them. And then I'm going to grab my street lamp and add a little glue to it with my tweezers and go ahead and poke it right back there behind. So that one does come in front of that other house a little bit. I'm cleaning off some of the glue and making sure I have things where I want them. You can see me rubbing my fingers together. So I reached over and cleaned off the glue. And I'm going to put the base of my card on. I just need to glue the piece that's actually going to touch the top part of the card. And once I get that put where I want it, I need to go ahead and flip it over. Here I am trying to make sure that it sets right. I have the house sitting right there on the base. And then here I'm going to go ahead and add my 3D foam behind the base of my snow globe so that it'll be the same level as the rest of it, since I had popped that other piece up. This way it'll sit right on the base of my card here in a minute. So I'm going to put that aside, clean some of these little bits and pieces up, and I'm going to grab that piece that I showed you in the beginning that I had already ran through my Sizzix with this sparkling snow globe 3D embossing folder. And I am going to go ahead and grab my tumbled glass right there. And I am going to go with a very soft hand over the top of this. Now, I had done this on a sparkly piece of paper as well, so that there is shine to it, and putting the Distress Oxide over the top of it doesn't take away from any of that either. I just wanted there to be a little bit more sparkle. So I went ahead and went over this with quite an easy hand, and I'll keep doing this until it gets to where I want it. And see, I'll lay the card over it, see if I like it or if I want it to go a little darker. So I reach up and grab some of my minty tape there so that I'm not leaving fingerprints behind on this. I'm going a little darker around the edges, pushing a little harder, having a little more ink on it, just so that there's a little more color around the edges than there is in the center of the card. And there is that. I went ahead and I was happy with the way it looked at that point, so I went ahead and cleaned up my space, got my card base. I have a lot of these pre-done in my stash, just sitting there so that when I'm ready just to attach a card, I can go ahead and do that. And this is just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 base. And I added my glue to the back, stacking it sideways, making sure that it fits correctly. And I rotated it and did the same. And I'm making sure here that it's correct. And I'll go ahead and I like to press down this way so that I know that it's good and stuck. And I check and make sure, and then I'll add take the backs off all of my foam pieces, and I will put some glue on the back of my snow globe, and I will adhere this down to that base. I did go with a lighter background there on the 3D embossed folder. That way that there was more contrast between the snow globe and the background. I went ahead and added Santa Claus and his little reindeer across the top, and that finished this card off for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and subscribe to Scrapbook Pals so that you can be notified when new videos come up and you can see all the great creations. Thank you so much for enjoying this video with me, and you have a great day.